Tak gunalah kau angkat besi ni semua kalau kau tak boleh bangun solat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Tirmizi, and today in another episode of The Black Screen, I will be sharing about fitness from the perspective of Islam. So today I hope to cover three things: the perspective of Islam on fitness, the mindset and misconception that our society has about it, and lastly, tips on how to get started with your fitness journey, inshallah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-mu'minul qawi khairun wa ahabbu ila Allah min mu'minid dha'if," which means a strong believer is better and more liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a weak believer. So in this context, the reason why is because a strong and healthy believer will be able to provide more value and benefit the society and the people around him more than a weak and sick believer. And we also have to remember that this is an amanah for each and every one of us. As much as we have the rights to fulfill for our neighbors, for our partners, our family members, our parents, we also have obligation and responsibility to give the rights to ourselves, because this body is something that we borrow and we hope to return it in the best state possible. So in Islam, health and fitness is not a supplementary item to our faith, it is a necessity. But I'm not saying that we have to be like top elite athletes or whatever, but as a Muslim we should have a conscious effort and initiative when it comes to our health and fitness. Even 3 out of 5 pillars of Islam requires us to have a certain level of fitness, because we need to be healthy when we fast, and we need to stand when we do our prayers, and when it comes to Hajj, we know that it's no joke, physically and mentally. So this hopefully sets the tone to how we would perceive fitness from an Islamic lens. So that's done, one. Number 2 will be the mindset and misconception that our society have with regards to health and fitness. So an example would be a very common remark that we hear, like tak gunalah kau angkat besi ni semua kalau kau tak boleh bangun solat, kan? And there is a truth behind it, but when people take it wrongly, they start to demonize fitness, and they start to say things macam apa buang masa ni semua, baik aku buat ibadah, kan? But not realizing that taking care of our health and getting fit is in itself an ibadah. The problem with this mindset is that it's not just fitness, but in general, people have a problem at looking at things from a very extreme point of view. It's like either you become a gym freak and you don't pray at all, tak solat terus, ataupun you become a very pious person who thinks of fitness as something that is beneath you. As if you cannot have something in the middle, right? As if you cannot have the best of both worlds. We need to remember that Islam is a deen of wasatiyah. It's a religion of moderation, and the best role model is none other than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we have heard and listened to a lot of the descriptions and physical attributes of Rasulullah, how his tummy is not passing his nose and how he stands upright and all those things. But an interesting story that I would like to share is regarding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and a sahaba named Rukana. So Rukana, before he became a companion of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the strongest wrestler in Egypt, in Mecca. And as how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, one day he came to convey the message of Islam. But then Rukana said that I'll talk to you if you can beat me in wrestling, right? So they had a showdown. And to cut the story short, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam slams Rukana into the ground 3 times in a row. And in awe and amazement of Rasulullah's strength, Rukana accepted Islam. So here 2 lessons that we can get is, firstly, da'wah can be done in various forms, and here we can see how Rasulullah did da'wah through wrestling, through a physical activity. And the second lesson here is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam can really take someone down. Okay, he's not all top, he's strong and fit, as how every Muslim should aspire to be. So hopefully this clears the air on the second point, which is the misconceptions and the mindset that we should adopt when it comes to fitness in Islam. And now that we know the importance of fitness in an Islamic perspective, I would like to share 2 tips on how we can get started with our fitness journey. So tip number 1 is the 80-20 principle, or in other words, to keep things simple. So the 80-20 principle means 80% of the result, the outcome that we get, comes from 20% of the simple yet important things that we do. Okay, don't overcomplicate it. Often we have too much surplus of information out there and we can't really know which one is credible. So in order for us to keep it simple, we must first have a bit of knowledge, some general knowledge on fitness, and of course you have to spend some time there. But if you do not have the time to do so, then that's where coaches like myself and trainers comes into play, and how they can cut the learning curve for you so that you can get started with your learning journey. You can get started with your fitness journey. Number 2, it's adherence. You can have the best coach, you can have the best training program in the world, but if you train with a very short-term mindset and you are very impatient with the process, then you are not going to get anywhere. Yeah, that sums up the tips that I want to give you guys so that you guys can get started with your fitness journey. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.